and last name. We're just gonna go hello
Okay.
and do something. And then what I did was, this was the old list that I used to maintain. There were about 3,000 of these, I think, from 1,500 to then we went up to 5,000. And I'm sure there was a lot of overlap actually between that list and that. So there was a total of 4,885 email addresses in this Excel spreadsheet that effectively, I think the only other thing that we don't have is all the webinar, like cumulative of all the webinar. I don't know what we are doing with those webinar email
We've
lists.
got
Been
them.
saving
We've got
those.
them.
We have them in Dropbox, but I haven't updated it because I haven't been able to get into IdeaScale.
Yeah, don't so we don't get into IdeaScale anymore. So what we do is, so on Question Pro itself, on Survey Analytics or anything really. So if you log into Survey Analytics, and then switch over to my account, and then it's basically the same thing. It's a panel really. Okay.
Yeah.
So switch over to my account, and then you'll see the enterprise mailing list, internal use only. Okay. So,
Oops.
fuck. Never mind. What the fuck did I do? Jesus.
You broke it.
Yeah, I broke it, dude. Fuck. Never mind. What the fuck was I doing?
Shit.
That's me, dude. Okay, you gotta give me 1 second. I fucked something up. I was fucking around with something. Oh fuck, never mind.
Cool. God.
This is what happens when you check in shit without fucking testing.
Black and green Emacs. You're such a go-ahead person.
Yeah, dude. I was trying to troubleshoot something else, but...
All right.
Give me 1 second.
I hear babies.
Okay, so this will fix it up. So that's the spreadsheet that we have. So you can do, I think we'd like to stick to at least trying to get the first and last name. So email address, first name, last name. So right now we are not doing any of the dynamic replacement, but we will start doing them later on. So just make sure the data is as clean as possible, obviously, right?
Right.
Even though we are not using it right now, I think on the GoToMeeting, you should be able to get all the GoToMeetings. Esther, you could do is create a giant spreadsheet of all the GoToMeeting invitees, and do a giant upload. The good thing about the upload would be it'll basically discard all existing duplicate email addresses anyway when you do the upload. So once this comes up, you'll see that there are only 3,700, even though we uploaded 4,800 email addresses. The total number of users in this panel is, if you go back here, so you'd see there's only 3,769 users. That's because obviously 1,000 of them are duplicates or so. So you don't have to worry about duplicates. So when you upload it through the email list, the duplicates are automatically thrown away. So you don't have to worry about it. So you can re-upload. So yes, technically you can keep re-uploading email lists as much as you want. It'll never have duplicates in them anyway.
Which is useful.
Yep. So once this comes up, so then the other thing that so I think we can use there's an email account for Esther called eLaviel. And I think I changed the password to Brewski01. So BREWSK01, that's our standard bullshit password.
Yep.
So this email, so we can use this email as the spam, because we don't want to use your personal email because it's going to get hammered with a bunch of crap in it.
Yeah.
And then your normal email gets raped. People start sending you all kinds of. I mean, you get into other people's spam lists. So,
Oh, goody.
So what you can do is from here, when you want to send out an email to everybody. So let's do a test one first. So the V1 is another, for example, V1 is another panel with 2 people in it. It's basically me and Esther in it. So pull this one out. But here's how you would do it. So if you want to send out an email to everybody, you compose an email to uh, the target email address is the URL to the panel, that is v1.micropanel.com at mail dot, I think it's 12, I think. We'll see what it is. I think it's 12.micropanel. That's the URL to that panel at mail.micropanel.com. Okay. The first part of it is basically the name of the absolute URL of the panel itself, and then and then mail.micropanel.com. So and here's a hello. This is okay. So keep in mind, make sure when you send this out, it's going to go out to everybody in this panel, effectively. That makes sense so far?
Okay. Yeah. So when we so go over it, if we hit that email, it gets blasted out to all the things in that panel.
Correct. So there's every panel has its own email address, right? Same thing we do there. It's exact same shit. So every like in IdeaScale, every community has its own email address. In this case, obviously, every panel has its own email address, and then you send an email to that email address, then that email just basically gets rebroadcasted as if you are sending it out to every single person.
I like that.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it's great.
So all you have to do is to send this and wait for 10 minutes, and you'll start getting out of office replies over here. That means it's going out right now. And to double check that it is indeed going out after this bill goes out, we'll see. I'll tell you.
Well, we should put ourselves on the list anyway.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, I mean, you'll get it. We all should be on the list anyway, I think. Let's see. Okay, build. Not yet. 2 more minutes. Then there's also a log over there that'll tell you how many emails have gone out and etc. So Esther, do you have a spreadsheet of all the users, of all the webinar users in Dropbox?
Oh yeah, we got loads of them.
Yeah, it's in there.
Where are they? Do you know?
Dropbox.
Yeah, it's under webinar registrants is what it's called. I don't. It's underneath there somewhere.
I'm just having a look. Survey analytics.
It should be under survey analytics.
Well, they're in my email as well. Where are they?
Yeah, those are all the ones. Yeah, those are all the ones.
GoToMeeting registered people?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
That's everybody who registered.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
so
that's all.
So for example, the VOC webinar, right? The VOC webinar registrants, right?
Yeah,
so
they're all in there.
So you got how many of them over here? So okay, 100 of them. It's a good list, right? So you just have to massage this thing a little bit. So what you got is basically create a new spreadsheet, I guess. And then what you could do is, I guess, copy. I mean, the only thing is you gotta have the email address, and then first name and then last name. So create a new one, put it over here. Last name, and delete the first. Delete the rows. So clean this one up. So your first name, last name, and then a bunch of crap, right? There we go. Get the whole thing? Oh fuck! I didn't get everything else. Anyway. So these 32, I'll just do this 32 of these. That's fine, right? So you can do the rest.
Right.
So you have these things. Then you can save this as, webinar 1. Save it as an Excel document. And then, so let's go back to the app. Hopefully by now, good. The app is rebooting right now. Come up in a minute. Yeah, so you got the test email. So Elaviel itself is in this list. So you got the test email yourself over here. And then I should, in my account, I'm also in it. So in that test one. I should have gotten one from Esther. There you go. So that's this thing.
Oh, there it is. So Esther, you're going to be the voice of survey analytics.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yes, Esther is going to be the voice of Survey Analytics. Or it can be, I mean, I don't
Doesn't
think
matter.
Esther needs to, I mean, anybody can log in. I mean, I think, Andrew, you can log in and send out the emails. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
It's the reason we've done it this way is it's super easy. So you just log into the account, send the email, and then go on with your life. That's it, right? So you're done. That's how. So if we make it easy, then we'll be consistent and we'll do it. I mean, I think, the key is to kind of be consistent and just do it every whatever. Pick a schedule and make sure that this thing happens every 2 weeks. So let's go back in here. So I say, okay, now we want to fire up. So we say we want to add those webinar people into the list so that we can spam those fuckers also. So then you go to.
What's that all users list? The 700.
That's the entire Question Pro database.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
So that's the Question Pro one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So import users. Oops, sorry. So you gotta choose the file first, and then so what was it called? Webinar one. So import users. This is a little flaky in the sense that it doesn't actually tell you what. It takes a little bit of a time. Just let it go through. It should come back with a decent answer. It takes a little bit of time. Okay, there you go. So there you go. 27 email come in. There are 4 duplicates and some random invalid email address was there. So okay, so you got 27 more email addresses into the system now. Okay, so and you can double check it, and you can spot check the fucker and say, okay, I'm gonna look for, well, Greg Bender was in it, so I guess. So you can just search for Greg, and he should be there. So there we go. So you know this guy came in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and you can see when it was just uploaded 27 seconds ago. Okay. So you have all these. So sending out an email to these guys is essentially the target email address should be surveyanalyticsinternal.micropanel.com at mail.micropanel.com. Okay. That makes sense?
Makes sense. Just yeah, okay.
That's it. I mean, that's all it is. Then you send out an email to that, and it'll get. I'll just double check one second. Ilaviel should be an administrator. Oh no, this is not gonna work. Okay, good. Ilaviel. Okay, all right, perfect. Good. So yeah, from now on, so Ilaviel can send out emails into the email list, and it'll get rebroadcasted. And then the only other thing is under activity. So we haven't done any broadcast email for this panel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back to the other one, the test one we did, the one with 2 people, you go to activity, you'll see these broadcast emails that we've sent, right?
Okay.
And you see down the emails when it was done, and then what was the subject line of the email that went out, and then how many obviously how many emails went out.
Cool.
That makes sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Esther and I can do that.
Okay, cool. So just kind of, pick a date. I mean, I think if you want to, put together that Survey Pocket bullshit, send it out today. You can send it out.
Yeah, I got a draft. I'll show Esther for proofing. All I'm trying to think of at the moment is we always have to make an offer, so I want to have some sort of offer in the email. So.
Okay, cool. So make it happen. I mean, you can. I mean, I think the key would be both Andrew and Esther. The key would be to grow that mailing list as much as you can, and just kind of keep pounding on that to generate drive leads and say like, okay, have a consistent on Question Pro we're going to do the same thing on Question Pro. We'll have a system for every 2 weeks we'll send out something or the other to the entire mailing list. And I think on Survey Analytics also you want to do this kind of similar thing every 2 weeks. Have a super consistent model. Okay, we're gonna and kind of almost pre-bake it and almost have it as a draft and say, okay, this is going to go out on May 16th, this is going to go out on May 30th, this is going to go out on April, whatever, June 13th, and then have a bunch of drafts ready, and then all you have to do is to go into the account and just hit the send button on that day.
That's what Didier is doing right now with the fly trap thing, right?
Yep, that's what we're going to do with that. Yep, exact same thing.
Okay.
So I think we might use another account for that, and just I think we'll create a new persona. In this case, we're just going to use Esther, but on Question Pro, we might actually just do it on one of Aditya's accounts.
Right.
And do those exact same thing, really. So we'll basically on Question Pro, same thing's gonna happen. Yeah, this all users is gonna be, the entire Question Pro database. And then what probably we'll do is just gonna negate out the mailing list for this guy somehow, and then we'll, and if there is some overlap, fuck it, it doesn't really matter. They'll get some more.
No, I get it. That'll be okay.
At least at this, we're not gonna obviously all the only overlap are going to be old Question Pro customers that moved on to Survey Analytics. They might get emails from obviously the old.
Well, they'll complain and has to be taken off, and then we'll deal with that when it happens.
And pretty easy to take people off and on. I mean, never ever delete a user, because if you delete a user, then if somebody re-uploads it, they'll come back. So if you want to unsubscribe somebody, say somebody bitches and says like, okay, again, this guy doesn't want to do it, just go back into the account and then mark the status as block unsubscribed. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Simple. But do not ever delete the user, because okay. So no deleting of the users. Okay. Just mark them as unsubscribed, and if you mark them as unsubscribed, we'll never send them an email anymore. Anyway. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, John. Bye.